Thanks for tuning in to Out of Scope, where we talk about sports, business, and marketing. I'm Brian Cristiano, CEO of Bold Worldwide. I have Nic Darling, Executive Vice President of Major League Ultimate, here with me today, the premier Ultimate Frisbee League in the U.S.
Sports marketing expert, Brian Cristiano.
Brian Cristiano. Sports fans are arguably the most passionate people probably on the face of this planet.
Marketers and advertisers and brands always have to keep in mind, you have to play to the state of your audience.
If you're not passionate, do something else. Nic, thanks for coming in on Out of Scope, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Absolutely, pleasure to have you be here. So, for the audience that doesn't know, tell me, what is Major League Ultimate?
Major League Ultimate is a professional ultimate Frisbee league. We have 8 teams right now, 4 on each coast, and those teams play ultimate Frisbee.
How long has the league been around for?
We've been around for 3 years. We're actually going into our 4th season starting in April.
Awesome. That's really cool, man. Tell me, what the hell was the idea behind starting an entire sports league? Because this isn't just a team, this is a whole league.
It's a whole league, yeah. We run a centrally owned and operated league. So, we own all of the teams, the investors in the group own all the teams. So the idea behind starting, it's crazy. And
Yeah.
First of all, if I can give a recommendation, anybody out there listening who's young, inspired to do something similar, just don't do it.
Don't start a sports league.
It's a lot of work,
All right.
Well, unless you're into that kind of thing. But yeah, so we started it in 2012, and what was crazy about it is we started in the fall of 2012, September area.
Right.
And we had our first game in April of 2013. So between those two things, if you think about the complications of this, we built all 8 teams, we branded them, we built websites for them, we got insurance, we hired coaches, we booked travel, we booked stadiums, boom, 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 on,
Wow.
and got to game 1 in April, which was insane.
That's a short
We
period
should
of
have
time.
spent 2.5 years doing that.
Right.
But again, you're young, you're crazy, you just go ahead and do those sorts of things.
Wow, that's unbelievable. And what was the idea behind starting a league? Like, Ultimate Frisbee is obviously a sport that's catching on, but it wasn't, especially at that time, as large as it is now.
What's astonishing is it's actually one of the biggest and fastest growing participation sports in the world. In the United States, it's played by 5.1 million people every year,
Wow.
which is more than hockey and lacrosse combined. And it's not even close. Like, hockey's I think 750,000. Lacrosse has gotten up to 1.2, 1.3 million.
Wow.
We have 5.1 million people playing this game every year, according to the Sports Fitness Association's survey that they do. So we looked at that number, and then we looked at the fact that it's played in 80 countries around the world. We just
Right.
got Olympic recognition. It's played in 750 colleges in the U.S. And we said, look, this is a massive participation sport. People obviously enjoy playing it. Is there a way that we can transition that that participation group into an audience, a fan base?
Right. And what was that reception like? Was it quick, or you guys have only been around for 4 years, but over those first 2 seasons, what was that like?
It's mixed. Even though there's that many people playing, how many are playing in the kind of organized environments that we can tap into? We're only in 8 cities at the moment, so being able to even let people know we exist takes a lot of work. And frankly, people aren't used to watching this sport yet. So a big part of our work is getting people accustomed to watching Ultimate rather than playing it. Transitioning people from being like, I'm going to go to this tournament this weekend with my friends and play in it, or with my club team and play in it, to I'm going to go to a game this weekend, sit in the stands and watch it, is actually a challenge.
And what's the growth been like since you started Major League Ultimate until now, 4 years later?
The growth has been great, and growing the number of people turning up to games is really, really hard. Everyone we talk to tells us that it's that's a war of attrition, right? You build it up, but our digital audience, people following us on social media, the people reading our content, watching our content, that's grown immensely. And along with that has been the sponsorship growth. We've been able to bring in bigger brands to work with us who have seen us grow in this digital space and seen us grow in our ability to reach and engage our fans, and have been able to add sponsors now who never knew about the sport beforehand. Non-endemic sponsors, not not Frisbee companies or Frisbee glove companies or Frisbee jersey companies, but actually brands outside of that space. And that's probably where our biggest growth has been, and that's feedback into developing that fan base and continuing to grow that.
I was going to say, I mean, I assume that helps accelerate the fan base growth, just because if, XYZ brand that has nothing to do with this thinks that that's important, obviously that has some level of importance, and there's obviously a lot of eyeballs headed that way, or they're not going to do it.
Absolutely. Skippy Peanut Butter, they just re-signed with us, so I get to talk about them again.
Oh, wow.
So they just re-signed for next year. Has been amazing because we are able to produce content for them. We do the Skippy Yippy moment of the month, or moments of the month, and it's this video content with celebrations, and the Seattle team in particular, very good at end zone celebrations. Shout out to those guys. But we put this content together, and then we share it with our people, they share it with theirs, and suddenly we have a whole new audience seeing what we're doing and seeing what's going into this sport and getting introduced to it.
How important is it, the digital side, the content side, versus the live action games themselves? And I don't necessarily even just mean for Major League Ultimate, but as far as sports, organizations, teams in general, how important does that become?
So I think it varies a lot. Your more established sports might have a little more to gain from their live game audience. They own the stadiums, they have that whole environment. But in reality, for every sport, it's the media that's really driving it. And so, you look at Major League Baseball and the investments they've made into the media side. You look at the NFL, they just launched NFL Now. Right. Everybody understands that your audience is global, your reach is potentially global, and how you drive that digital audience will eventually outpace what you can do live and in the stadium. And for smaller sports, for arm wrestling or surfing, which is hard to watch live, it's a huge part of what they do. So I think we fall somewhere in between the two, but our major focus really, if you think about us as a company, we're an event company where we run games in these different cities, and we're a media company where we produce digital content and we connect the people who are fans of that content with brands who can provide extra value to them and who they also provide value to.
What's been your biggest either organization or marketing challenge as far as creating awareness and growth of the organization?
It's making enough noise, right? Like, it's a noisy world right now. There's a lot of things vying for people's attention. There's a lot of content vying for their attention. There's a lot of activities to go do with your family on a Saturday vying for their attention.
Right.
When we talk about competition, a lot of people are like, well, what other Frisbee league is there that you're competing against? And that's minor. What we're really competing against is the TV shows that are on, the movies you can go watch, the theme park down the street, whatever those things are. So being able to make enough noise and resonate in that environment is the challenge. And whether you do that through social media, whether you do that through your digital assets, we do it through live appearances, any little ground we can gain there is great, but it is a big challenge.
So really coming down to a lot of focus on content marketing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Is that where your focus is going to be for 2016, the new season?
Even more so.
Really?
Yeah. We're really looking at content as the driver of our business, not only because content is the majority of what we're delivering in terms of value to sponsors. There is live game activation, there's signage, there's all the other normal things, but it's really the content that drives it. But also, we think it's our best chance of expanding our audience and our fan base.
Where do you see Ultimate Frisbee as a sport going over the next 5 years? Growing?
I think we're going to grow immensely. Here's the great thing. Right now, we're seeing a lot of high schools start to adopt the sport as a varsity sport. Right? If you think about the way that our business works, that is enormous for us, because that's going to start to build not only the talent we need going forward, but future fans. If you play a sport, you're much more likely to watch a sport. Participation equals viewership for the most part.
Right.
If you don't play it, it's hard to watch. I don't play cricket. I have difficulty watching cricket.
Right.
Though I have spent a lot of time with British friends, and once you're a few pints in, it works out.
You can watch anything.
You can watch just about anything. Yeah, at that point, yeah. It goes on for days, so it gets a little blurry after a while. But the more kids we can get playing it, the better, right? So there's a great sale for high schools that want to have this. It is, if you haven't seen it, it gives you all of the kind of athletic things that you would get being a wide receiver or a corner in football, right? But with a fraction of the traumatic head injuries. So when we're pitching this to schools and when we're trying to include it, this is a relatively low injury sport in terms of serious injuries. And two, it's cheap. The most popular sport in the world, popular team sport in the world, what is it?
Soccer?
Soccer,
yeah.
Soccer's massive.
Yeah.
It's played in every single country.
Right.
Everybody plays it. Why?
You just need a ball.
Exactly.
Right.
So this, we just need a Frisbee. You can play this anywhere. All you need is a Frisbee. The equipment requirements are really low. The facilities and fields that schools already have accommodate it perfectly. So our focus in the long run is to grow the sport at that youth level. We're putting a lot of our resources and energy into that and supporting people who are doing it. And that, we think, in the long run is going to translate to this sport growing massively over the next 5 to 10 years.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. I'm really excited to kind of see where it goes.
Yeah, so am I.
I bet. All right. What does the word passion mean to you?
Oh, what does the word passion mean to me? I guess I would say that passion is something you can focus on that causes a complete disregard for other normal concerns. I think about this both in business and in family life, right? Like, I'm passionate about my wife, which makes me ignore a lot of other stuff that's going on in the world, right?
Right.
Same thing about the business. I'm passionate about it, and I can ignore the challenges and discomfort that come along with doing something like this. It's a hard job.
Yeah.
And everybody who works for us is doing a really, really hard job. And, often for not as much as they deserve to get back out of it right now.
Right.
Because that's the way it is in a small startup business, right?
Right.
But they're so passionate about it that it enables them and gives them the ability to push through the discomfort, push through the stress, push through the challenges. So I think of passion as an engine, right, that just pulls you through the murky water of, like, starting something, like the shark-infested murky water of starting something.
I love that, man. That's a good explanation of what passion is.
Oh, hey, did I win? Do I get points?
You might.
Oh,
We'll have to see.
Yeah, I
see
like
if somebody
that.
else has a better one, but
Yeah,
I really
well,
like that one.
so
That might
I'm
be the
gonna
best
make
so
the
far.
list.
Yeah,
Okay,
you're
all
on the
right.
list.
All right, good.
All right. If you could go back in time and tell your 20-year-old self one thing, what would it be?
Oh, God. That's a tough question. I talk about this a lot. People always ask if you have regrets, right? Everybody looks and says, do you have regrets? I made a lot of interesting choices. I chose to be an English major. I chose to move to Philadelphia. I chose to do a lot of different things. And I think if I met my 20-year-old self today, I would probably just say stay the course. Because I'm pretty psyched with where I am. And frankly, if you have regrets, it means you don't like where you are.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest, today I have a great family. I have a great job. I have great people working around me. I get to be on great podcasts. And in the end, I think, I'd meet my 20-year-old self and I'd say, maybe drink a little better beer so that you're prepared for the future.
Yeah.
But other than
better
that,
taste. But
yeah, just build up the better taste a little bit. But other than that, just keep doing what you're doing, because some of it's gonna suck. But in the long run, it's going to be real good.
Yeah, I think that ties back into the passion. If you love what you're doing, how you got there, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
you got to do a lot of things to get where you want to go.
I've never gotten anywhere in a straight line.
No.
So
I don't think anybody does, right?
I don't think
That's pretty
anyone
boring.
does. It really is. I think I have like one friend who's gotten someplace in a straight line. And,
He's the guy.
I
He's
don't
the
even
one
know,
guy.
I don't even know what to make of him. Like, I don't know how to talk to you.
He's the one guy. If you could play one professional sport, what would it be?
Oh. So the temptation is to say ultimate because, but I got to be honest, I grew up as a soccer player. If I could play for Everton, I would do that in a second.
Right.
But in the long run, I think that I still would, ultimate would be my second choice.
Cool.
I played a lot, and I'm watching my youngest brother now come into the game. He's going to be trying to make the Philadelphia Spinners team this year. He's much younger than me. He's like 17 years younger, same parents, which is disturbing. But he's a monster. He's 6'8". He's fast.
Wow.
I'm really looking forward to seeing him play, and I'm going to live vicariously through that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. All right. For anybody that wants to learn more about Major League Ultimate or find out where the teams are, where do they go?
Go to mlultimate.com.
mlultimate.com.
mlultimate.com or majorleagueultimate.com and get you to the same place.
Nice.
You can also, follow us at mlultimate on Twitter, Instagram, all the other places.
Cool.
Or just Google us.
All right.
We're all over it.
Awesome. I'll make sure to put it all in the show notes.
Awesome.
Nick.
Love it.
Thanks, man.
Hey, so good talking to you.
You too. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, well, first of all, make sure to check out Major League Ultimate, but secondly, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Please make sure to do that. Make sure to share and comment, because the more people that watch the show, the better it's going to continue to get. And make sure to tune in to the next episode where Kyle and I talk about business and marketing and we drink some tequila. Do you want some tequila?
I would like a little tequila. Yeah, let's have that. Yeah.
All right, done.
Done.